This logo's weird, man. Like, of all the big budget effects-driven movies Jerry Bruckheimer's produced, Twister ain't one of them.
Army Rangers have a proud history.
Me, if there was one movie that had no need for opening their exposition, it's this movie, so sin this twice.
And remember, Rangers lead the way.
Well, not really anymore. I mean, they won the AL West in 2016, but since then, they've been totally in rebuilding mode.
You gonna be Miss Alabama? Well, that makes your daddy very proud.
And sexist.
He's a regular.
Yeah, I'm a regular hound dog.
I'm not sinning the character for making this terrible pun, because he's clearly drunk, but I am sinning the screenwriter for the first of many terrible puns in this script.
Why don't you go buy me and my buddies around?
Did he just throw money at him? So the insult is that he gives him the money for the drinks, but wants him to be the middleman? When your talking is basically just asking someone to run an errand for you, you may need some assholing lessons.
Because of pussies like you, we lost Vietnam.
What? Isn't Trisha on shift right now? Shouldn't she be servicing this very busy oyster bar? And if it's no big deal if she takes some time off, why didn't she meet Poe at the airport and erase the very stupid inciting incident for this movie?
Hey, Gomer!
So these assholes waited for Trisha to finish working, then waited in this pouring rain just to with Cameron? Like, that's not even drunk behavior. That's obsession with a dude they just met tonight. Wow, in this fight against a highly decorated Army Ranger, this asshole's first impulse is to rip off Cameron's badges. Simon West does not around, man. Cameron's been back home for a cup of coffee and a Trisha Yearwood song and has already killed a guy.
Yeah, he's dead.
And I can immediately diagnose this within seconds, despite being the bartender at the least fancy oyster bar in Mobile, Alabama.
You could get 10 years. Admit to it. You get 4.
The most ludicrous thing about this ludicrous movie is the idea of a white guy getting this long of a sentence in Alabama.
You are a deadly weapon and are not subject to the same laws as other people that are provoked.
Wait, what? His uniform was torn. His wife witnessed 3 men attack him, and he was injured, not to mention character witnesses. Witnesses of the provocation at the bar, broken bottle pieces. This movie should have just been over in 6 minutes. And I'm blaming this idiot lawyer and judge for whatever the next 2 hours holds. Character walks into prison for the first time and gets aggressively and immediately catcalled in a movie cliche. Seriously, can't there be one movie when the population welcomes a new member with, like, a carrot cake or something?
I'm not angry. The blame's gotta fall on me.
After all, I should've let them boys stab me for having the gall to dance with my wife. They were perfectly within their rights.
I am, however, torn apart when I think that I won't be there to see our child come into the world.
Look, I personally want this entire video to be an indictment on Nicolas Cage's attempt at a southern accent, since it's maybe the worst accent attempt since Keanu Reeves tried to be British in Dracula. But since we have to move on to other things, here's 300 sins. And honestly, I think the movie's getting a bargain.
I got your package. Those pink coconut things have made me quite popular.
And thank you for packing them so neatly, so that the audience could read the brand names clearly. Hey Roger, what's a prison riot look like? I'm guessing a bunch of bunks and some fire. Is that enough? Nah, they probably also TP the whole area for effect. Roger, you are a genius. Seriously, Nick Cage's workout routine montage lasts longer in this movie than the goddamn trial.
School is very important. Your mom is right.
I swear Nick Cage is a box of chocolates away from doing a complete Forrest Gump impersonation. He might as well just make his cellmate Bubba and call it good. Holy whoa, what the is that horror movie artwork? Did Casey paint that? If so, Cameron's incarceration had a up impact on that poor girl. This is like something the kid from The Ring would paint.
Man, don't be getting all juicy on me. Get off me.
Foreplay.
As you know, today's flight...
There's no greater sign of oncoming exposition than the character telling a bunch of people something they already know.
It's my daughter's birthday.
Well, congratulations.
I got locked down 3 months before she was born.
And I'm oversharing this much because we only have a few minutes to bond so that you can later immediately trust me on this dangerous flight. Oh look, he wears socks with sandals. He must be quirky and brilliant. Parking in the handicap slot, the go-to for any time you need a character to look like an asshole, and subtlety isn't a concern.
We pick up Mr. Sandino in Carson City. From then until the plane hits Alabama, we've got 2 hours to get him to talk.
What? Let's assume that this prison is somewhere in central Alabama. It takes at least 5 hours to get from Carson City to anywhere near that location. I don't care if Google wasn't around in 1997. This is a pretty silly miscalculation.
That's William Bedford, a.k.a. Billy Bedlam.
Mass murderer?
The intros for the convicts are so stupid and stylized that they might as well be accompanied by Suicide Squad-style graphics.
He wrote a book in prison. New York Times called it a wake-up call for the black community. They're talking to Denzel for the movie.
I know I should be surprised by how dismissively racist this movie is in retrospect, but I'm not really surprised by how dismissively racist this movie is in retrospect.
Tell me, Skip, is the U.S. Marshal Service in the habit of employing annoying, wise-ass bookworm creeps?
We even knew back in 1997 that anti-intellectualism was an asshole trait. Glad we took care of that then, so it can't bother us today. Sure, we're clean up at the 50 Shades convention, they said. It'll be an easy $25, they said.
What's up, man? Oh, what's up?
Honestly, the only more random Dave Chappelle appearance in a movie is A Star is Born.
What's the in-flight movie today?
Well, I think you'll like it, Cyrus. It's called I'll Never Make Love to a Woman on the Beach Again.
Wait, I guess that kind of means I'm a prisoner too.
Hope this goes smoothly.
All those monsters on one plane.
I know, right? Sounds like a great idea. You know, I've been thinking about this plan a lot. It requires Pinball to start the fire in the back cabin. Then Bishop has to be the one to open the gate and get the extinguisher, and she has to have her keys easily accessible. Then she'd leave plenty of time for Pinball to release Diamond Dog, and he himself is able to take out the many guards in the front cabin. My point is that maybe it's not impossible, but this motherfucker is way too easy. 2 random bullets, and both hit unimportant characters in fatal areas, and neither hits anything vital on the plane. Also a victim of this shooting? Logic.
And if you say a word about this over the radio, the next wings you see will belong to the flies buzzing over your rotting corpse.
Man, I bet this line looked great on paper. And it sounds great coming out of John Malkovich, but what the f***?
I have the only gun on board. Welcome to Con Air.
Roll in, mates.
This is your captain speaking.
So that's it. The guards look like they've actually got the upper hand here, and the only advantage Cyrus has is the gun. Sure, it's a big advantage, but they still have numbers, and they have to know about the arsenal in the belly of the plane.
Just a little ruckus and the pilot hit the alarm.
Wait, so that pilot went along with it? Even after Killy Ray Cyrus stepped out of the cockpit? I swear this whole plan is just a giant bowl of this work stew. Also, you know, it was Ginny that raised concerns about this flight in the first place, but now that there's an actual alert, she's super calm. I know the pilot said everything is fine, but she's not even suspicious?
I can't allow that.
Memphis versus Machete.
Diamond Dog, if you would.
You think you're free?
Did they rehearse this? Why does Diamond Dog have to do the motivational speech about the next steps? Cyrus is literally right there. I know we're all nervous that the gun is going to be found, but the real question is, how is it not seen by the person who locked his ankles down in the first place?
Everybody freeze!
Jesus Christ. Sims might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but how on earth does he expect this to work?
I'm DEA, you know what the that means? You're the most crooked on this plane.
This line is so good relative to the rest of the script that I choose to believe it was Dave Chappelle improvising. But because I'm not sure and I'm too lazy to look it up, I'm giving it a sin.
Nice work, Poe. Truly nice work.
But what did Poe really do? Sure, he kind of distracted the DEA guy, but it seems like Cyrus would have higher standards for this type of praise.
The guys they're expecting are white. That puts you out of luck.
These assholes are going to be transferred to another prison though, right? So it's conceptually much luckier to be on this flight, considering Cyrus doesn't know about Baby O's diabetes.
Carson City says we got a hell of a sandstorm down there.
Perfect.
It is perfect, since they can now disguise themselves even further. It's almost like God wants these motherfuckers to escape, and they're somehow gonna screw it up.
Boy, a second ago you couldn't wait to get off this plane.
I know. Feel freedom, I guess.
This works.
Now what would my daughter think of me if I left you like this to get dishonored and die?
Look, I'm gonna be honest, I expected a ton of sins for this movie to this point, but there's just so much like this line. It's definitely sinful, but really just sins itself. Listen again.
Now what would my daughter think of me if I left you like this to get dishonored and die?
You see?
Hey, Chief, I got a lot of weird down here.
Oh yeah, Cyrus had plenty of time to Andy Dufresne his prison cell with plaster, even though he's under constant surveillance.
Heard you had a problem up there! Had to bag him and gag him!
I don't care if he's got a goddamn hood on. Cyrus is apparently one of the most recognized criminals in the system, but this correctional officer doesn't recognize his ass, even this close. Also, what was the plan if there wasn't a sandstorm? He'd still walk out with a mask and goggles and no one would notice? I'm starting to think these assholes are actively in on this plan.
You gotta be kidding me.
How long is it going to take for Lloyd Dobler to put this together, man? He's been looking at these pictures for several minutes, but hasn't radioed to the plane? This is like Butthead looking at the window, the footprints, and the missing TV over and over again.
Is that it? One more! Late edition!
Yes, we're not only adding a previously unknown entity to this highly regulated prison transfer, he's gonna be the most murdery of all those motherfuckers. Good luck. Yeah, but Steve Buscemi still looked creepier as crazy eyes in that Adam Sandler movie.
That skinny little man butchered 30-something people up and down the eastern seaboard.
Whisper's position. Also, even if these are convicts, what makes them goddamn experts on the other eviler convicts? Poe even later knows the exact details of Cindino's lesser-known crimes. Like, is the literature on the criminals available in the prison library? And if so, why? It's physically, spiritually, psychically, emotionally, and physically impossible for this movie to get any dumber.
We've got a situation here, sir. Somebody better call the marshal's office.
This is the radio equivalent of "you'd better come take a look at this" cliche.
Where is the transponder? Where indeed?
Not content to just show us Tom Friendly hot-wiring the transponder and having it taken out of the plane, movie wants to make sure we get it by taking another few minutes to spell it out in conversation. So did Larkin intentionally wrinkle his suit? Did it come nice and pressed from the store, but he crumpled that shit up and threw it into a corner of his closet before he could wear it? He just took that barely used cigarette out of his mouth and chucked it on the floor. It's a bad for the health, bad for the environment, bad for the wallet trifecta.
Situation's never been contemplated.
Well, you better start contemplating.
No one ever contemplated the inmates taking over the plane. On the list of things to contemplate when putting inmates on the plane, shouldn't that at least be toward the top?
Cyrus Grissom, do you copy?
So they discovered the schematics in Cyrus's cell. They deciphered the code. They've been through the bomb blast in the cell, run through the entire tape from the DEA agent, and they're just now contacting the plane's radio.
Oh Nothing makes me sadder than the agent lost his bladder in the airplane.
Okay, I've gone as far as I can without taking a sin off of this Malkovich performance. This is prime Malkovich, people.
Except they somehow managed to get every creep and freak in the universe onto this one plane, and then somehow managed to let them take it over, and then somehow managed to stick us right smack in the middle.
I know we're pronoun gaming here, but is the they in this situation the screenwriter? By the way, what did Baby O do that landed him in prison? Not like he's getting out anytime soon, since he was getting transferred, presumably, to that Supermax prison in Alabama. But he's good because he's diabetic?
Got in a drunken brawl, defending his wife, and he killed a guy. Could have happened to any one of us.
Damn, if only Cameron had the legal mind of U.S. Marshal Vince Larkin on his defense team.
This man is in an irrational state of mind!
Despite John Cusack yelling this about the director, he was allowed to continue making this film.
We drag him, baby. The landing gear ain't all the way up.
And I just figured no one would ask me about it, so I haven't said anything for this entire flight.
So that's what happened to Pinball!
Yeah, but this is how Pinball fell over, while running neck to neck with a plane that's lifting off, mind you. So how in the ever-loving did he end up here? Also, the production budget must have been sapped after casting all this star power, because clearly nothing was spent on this Chappelle dummy. Seriously, look at that. It's like a toddler made a clay sculpture in art class and then quit halfway through. There's no way this is cruising altitude, and a plane of this type at this height would draw all kinds of suspicion. Movie doesn't even know how to airplane. Not only does this body not explode on impact, it somehow picks a busy intersection instead of the top of a building or an unpopulated area.
You say you had 15 years. Well, then that will put you on North Block. Funny thing, I was on North Block. I don't know you.
What the f is it about criminals in movies that makes them expert detectives? Why the hell would Billy care where Poe was in the prison? Especially when they're, you know, in the middle of a daring aerial escape from prison.
What's wrong with him?
I'm more concerned with why Baby O was sweating so much. I think it's supposed to be a reminder that he needs insulin, but high blood sugar doesn't cause sweating. Thirst, exhaustion, and frequent urination, sure, but sweating like you're starring in A Time to Kill isn't usually on the symptoms list.
Hey, those are my shades.
They're mine now, sister.
Men.
Man, this movie is trying to be offensive to everyone, and it's succeeding. Dude, you have this whole giant road, and you're driving right down the middle?
Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
Wait, I think I've heard this one. Because it was having a bad hair day? Did I get it right?
That aircraft's carrying 30 prisoners, and I'm Elvis Presley.
And if this pilot would make that outdated of a reference, I'm Mary Pickford.
One girl, I drove through 3 states wearing her head as a hat.
Sure, this is supposed to show crazy old Garland's true colors, but how would that work? Did he have to balance it on top of his head the whole time, or ooh, did he take her face off? Oh, look, that's potentially blood. Let me dip my fingers in it to make sure. Better yet, let me dip my balls in that stuff. Also, what happened to Larkin's cell phone? He sees the dead body and the destroyed radio, but he sees no need to call this in?
The last guy told me to have patience. I burned him down and bagged his ashes.
Damn, even for Cyrus, this seems like a massive overreaction.
My own proclivities are well-known and often lamented facts of penal lore.
Penal lore.
Cyrus, this is your barbecue, man, and it tastes good.
This line is so bad that it's even worse than the rest of the script, and I'm choosing to believe that it was Nicolas Cage improvising. But because I'm not sure and I'm too lazy to look it up, I'm giving it a sin.
How long we got till they get here, Nathan? 10, 12 minutes tops.
12 minutes? Let's say conservatively they're speeding at you at about 75 miles an hour. If it's going to take them 12 minutes, they would be, carry the 3, exponent of the mean, a full ton further away than you can see when the Earth curves out of sight just over 3 miles away.
You got a friend on board. See, I knew I was right about you. I read your file.
Movie has time for this. Hell, Larkin has time for this. Also, those South American thugs that ambushed Poe are still hanging around, right? I mean, one of them was shot in the leg, but he's not unconscious or anything. Poe just kicked his gun over to the side a little bit. They're gonna try and pull it out of the sand. That jet likely weighs over 700,000 pounds, and with 14 men in a tractor trailer pulling, that means each person would have to pull, factor the 5, multiple pi, a ton more than humanly possible until the wheels are on flat ground.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
Look, I'm not advocating for child murder or anything, but the movie takes great pains to set up this whole creepy Garland little girl thing. And he ultimately leaves her alone. Why? Child murder is like his whole thing, right?
Sigh.
Anara.
God, part of me wants to sin how painfully stupid this line is, and part of me loves the camp. Damn it, it's just too stupid. This movie gave reality the finger about an hour ago, assassinated it a few minutes later, and is now gleefully enjoying dry humping its corpse. If they're not expecting an ambush, why did they get out here? If they are expecting an ambush, why did they drive through here? Random cut to Danny Trejo is truly random. He seriously left the fight so he could go try and assault Bishop? This is an absurd commitment to this character's pathology movie. Wow, look at this guy really struggling to be dead. Like, he knows he's in the shot, but he's trying hard as f to be dead. Guns, stuff, flying, braking, noising, trucking, excitement. What was the fucking plan here? Did they even fill up? Or put any fuel in this plane whatsoever? These motherfuckers start drinking and celebrating as soon as they take off, so they somehow think they're free. But they have to know there are a ton of helicopters right behind them, right? How did the rope get under the front of the car? Wouldn't it have had to pass through the tires to travel underneath it like this?
Go for the tires! I'm going for the pilot!
But no, it was right there! The only person in movie history to even suggest going for the tires. It's at this point that everyone on the plane is listening to Sweet Home Alabama. I can't wait until one of them busts a dope freestyle to Mekhi Phifer about living in a trailer.
Pretty clever, huh, bitch? No! That's clever!
Twitter.
I got a bad feeling, son. I'm feeling like maybe I'm not supposed to make it.
Yeah, man, I get that feeling too, since you've literally spent this entire movie dying of different things.
I'm gonna show you God does exist.
Oh, come on, Poe. This is not the time for sexy talk. There have been so many bullets unloaded in this flying metal tube without incident that luck and coincidence must be 69ing somewhere nearby. Cool, it's finally sunset. This has been the longest day ever, by the way. Within the same day, they've had time to transport Poe and Baby O from San Quentin to the airfield, load up all the first batch of criminals, had them stage a coup, fly all the way to Carson City, make another prison transfer, get into a gunfight, fly back to Lerner Airfield, dig out the plane, get into a huge gunfight, then fly to Vegas. And there's a bunch of other stuff, like Poe's family flying all over the country, that's similarly unbelievable. But just trust me that this whole timeline is bullshit.
All the runways are cleared. Strip's where I'm gonna land.
But McCarran Airport is literally right next to the Strip. God damn, for a kinetic movie, it's lazy. I'm just gonna approximate, but I think this is a full 55 minutes of landing and crashing. Jesus Christ, look at all that crashing. Ouch. Damn, this is absurd, but I gotta admit it's mesmerizing. So let me get this straight. You want the propeller to not only dislodge, but boomerang back to the plane? Yes, and have it pass right between them before he shoots Poe. Wouldn't it kill them? No, they'll totally jump out of the way. But no human can react that quick, and the propeller would just be breaking the laws of physics. It's a propeller slicing clean through a plane. No one will care. CinemaSins cares, motherfucker. CinemaSins cares. Man, Larkin's carrying that gun with the reckless abandon you'd see from a policeman in Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Hey, Paul, next time take the bus.
Movie cruelly teases a speed Con Air hybrid that I'm definitely not emotionally prepared for.
Go with Jenny and your mom.
Holy the Marshals flew Poe's family out to this incredibly unsafe environment to surprise him? The fucking fuck? A plane crashed in the middle of the city like only minutes ago. I just realized that the only previous times I'd seen this movie, I'd been drinking, and I totally enjoyed this movie during those times. But I'm not enjoying it now while soberly dissecting it. Hang on, let me do a few shots. Okay, let's see if that helps. Damn, nope, let me try it again. Roll, motherfucker! Oh, yeah! He killed that guy with a fucking motorcycle. I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I miss you, baby. And I don't want to miss a thing.
What's in the box?
Not till you give me the
What's
gun.
in the fucking box?
I will not plead guilty.
You could get 10 years.
10 years, man! 10 years! 10 years! 10 years!
Jerry? Hello? Jerry? Hello?
You been to the celebrity room before? With other, clients? Depends on the artist. You know, Jose Feliciano, you got no complaints.
He's going very fast.
That's William Bedford, a.k.a. Billy Bedlam.
You gotta kick it off with a killer to grab attention.
What you looking at, punk?
What are you looking at, butthead? What do you want?
I want to know what the plan is. And I'll be damned if I didn't get really turned on.
What you're engaged in is blackmail. That is a felony.
I'm the new captain.
I'm the captain now.